Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at allCANES Radio. Now, let's take you inside the most colorful college football program of all time. Here's Brian, the Beast London. allCANES Radio is on now.
And a pleasant good evening, everybody. The Beast Brian London, and it's allCANES Radio. Live from Shake Shack in the Gables, 1450 South Dixie Highway, right across the street from the University of Miami. It is a lovely spring day here in the Gables. April 1st is upon us. A couple of guys might have pulled some April Fool's jokes on us this week. We were supposed to have a huge show lined up for us. Had a few guys decide they couldn't make it. So that's okay. Next week's show will be even bigger. What's wrong?
It's a little staticky.
It sounds staticky. Well, we will do the best we can here. How about that? Check 1 2 1 2. We're working out the kinks here at Shake Shack as Platon is now going to play sound engineer. There's two wires that go to the speaker. Now we'll send Manny over there to figure it out. It's plugged into microphone 1, Manny, if you want to, at least we're on the TV. If you want to watch us instead of listen to us, which I highly suggest, if you're going to watch us, just close your eyes, which I guess doesn't really make good watching. Go to Twitter and go to @SFSNTV, and you'll be able to watch us as we're here at Shake Shack, the best place for burgers, fries, shakes, and everything else here in the Gables. Shake Shack right here in the Gables, across from the University of Miami, 1450 South Dixie Highway. And we were supposed to have Leonard Hankerson. That didn't quite come through. We were supposed to have Kendall Tompkins. That didn't quite come through. Anyone else that I'm missing?
Thomas Carroll.
Thomas Carroll.
That didn't come through.
That didn't come through.
Dwayne Collins, that didn't come through. He's in Vegas. Santana Moss, that didn't come through. Brandon Harris, that didn't come through. And the list can go on.
Yeah, exactly.
But next week is confirmed.
Well, the interesting thing is we weren't supposed to have a show next week.
Yeah, but now we are.
So we're having a show next week, 7 to 9. It's good because the national championship game, the national championship game.
Hello.
The national championship game, I don't think starts until after 9.
Correct.
So
9:20, I guess.
And we're not in it.
Yes, valid point. We are not in the national championship game. So we'll do a little Hurricanes basketball redux in a second. So the bottom line is next week we will have a show from 7 to 9 with a plethora of star guests, according to Platon.
I have two confirmed. Kendall Tompkins and Leonard Hankerson will definitely be here.
By the way, they were the same two confirmed for this week.
Well, Leonard was definitely confirmed. Kendall Tompkins, to be fair, he got sick, and I know there's a bug going around. He told me he wasn't feeling at all well, but he promised he'd be here next week. And Leonard Hankerson will be here, and potentially Brandon Harris. He's been trying to get on the show. It didn't work out for him tonight, but he told me today, I definitely want to get on before I go back to Houston.
Is he over his hatred of you?
It's unconfirmed whether it was ever there, but I'm not going to even broach that subject because maybe he didn't hate me.
I'm going to ask him straight point blank. First question. Brandon, is it true you hated Platon?
Did you hate ProCanes?
Did you hate ProCanes?
Let's see what he says.
I think before we get to the basketball and all this stuff, really what we should do is start out the show by saying Sean Taylor would have turned 30 today. Yeah. And it's amazing how long it's been since he passed. It's amazing that he would have only been 30 today and in the prime of his NFL career, with still great years ahead of him, had his life not been taken from him. And just looking at some pictures and video today, it's still amazing what a great player he was, and he will always be missed as a member of the Canes fam, and I know the Redskins fans will miss him dearly as well. But I just, I can't get that picture of myself exactly where I was, where I got the phone call that something happened to him, and somewhere up there he's celebrating his 30th birthday in style, but unfortunately it's not with us, and we definitely should remember Sean on a day like this.
No doubt about it, Beast. Not just as a player, but as a man, as a father, as a husband.
That's right.
I mean, there's just, as a son, there's just so much more to it than what we know about him on the football field as a Hurricane great and as a Redskin and NFL great. But, it's a sad day, but it's a day to also celebrate his life and remember the good times. Remember those great times that he gave us as fans. And a lot of people were putting up pictures today, like you said, and videos, and watching those YouTube videos of him. I mean, that sort of tears you apart because you think, wow, how good was he then? And he was still so young in his career,
right.
And how much better he could have been.
I mean, he would only be 30 today. That's, he would just be peaking right now in his NFL career.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, with the way he was going.
Greatest of all time, he could have been.
He could have been the greatest safety of all time, could have been in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. And, it's sad that we have to not have him around.
Yeah.
Harry, your thoughts?
Oh, he was one of the best, and again, I think he's always been a fan favorite, and maybe because he left too soon, he's grown in popularity with people that probably never even got to see him play. But he's part of the family, and being part of that funeral service that he had and going back to Marlon Barnes and Chris Campbell and stuff like that, it's always a sad and tragic time when they're taken before their time. And the U family got together strongly for him, as well as the NFL and everyone else. And the sad thing is that the people that committed the crime still haven't really been found guilty of it, and it's still pending in court. And it just there's still kids dying each day because of gun violence, and we still have Brian Pata out there that crime's unsolved, and it just shows you that in society we live in today that there is violence, and it's unfortunate. And we remember him fondly today, and we'll always will probably remember him.
We need to make a push somewhere along the lines, and I'm sure it's being made, and I'm probably speaking out of some crevice that I shouldn't be speaking out of, but I mean, it's pretty apparent that Sean Taylor needs to go into the Sports Hall of Fame rapidly, and I'm sure that will be coming up next year.
I don't think he's eligible yet. Is the issue, and he's got to have that. What do they have to wait? 10 years?
Was it 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
10-year window, right? So next year, I think, is his first year of eligibility. Beast.
I believe the posthumous rules should be different.
That's an argument that could be made.
I just think that's the case. Gerard is here in the house. Disappointed Gerard because he came here specifically to shake hands with Leonard Hankerson, who's not here, and instead Gerard just gets to look at me for 2 hours.
And he's disappointed because we didn't tell him 2 weeks ago that Leonard Myers was here, and he's been trying to track him down for 10 years.
In retrospect, though, Gerard has us one-upped on everything because he's the guy that has Richard Gordon's contact information.
We need that, Gerard.
Yes. Well, you know what he's going to say to you? He's going to say, give me Leonard Hankerson, and I'll give you Richard Gordon's number.
But we can also bring up with Gerard here that the Hall of Fame banquet is a week from Thursday.
Yes.
And if you haven't signed up for it, call Gerard or check with the Hall of Fame. Is there a number we can use there?
Call me, 361-5301.
305-361-5301.
That's going to be a great
Just Google
banquet.
Sports Hall of Fame, and you'll get to the website, and John Ruth and Gerard. Ken Dorsey, Brett Romberg. Now, are we going to this event?
We are.
Are we broadcasting from it, or are we doing interviews?
That was the plan, right?
It's the plan. I got to see what I'm going to do with my class.
Yeah, they want us there,
That's
so we're going to go there, okay?
Okay, we'll be there
Time
Thursday.
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right, I'll have to arrange my work schedule.
Check your schedule, yes.
Yes. I will check my schedule.
The Hall of Fame banquets are always some of the greatest.
No.
banquets ever.
I'll tell you right now.
No doubt.
Let me tell you right now. I've been to all the rubber chicken dinners in town. Like every rubber chicken dinner in town that you could go to, I've been to. And there's no doubt that the number one event, banquet, celebration that you could possibly go to is the Sports Hall of Fame banquet. They do it right. It is it's got its tradition. It's perfectly organized. It is a great time. The food is good. Everything is good. We're over on Jungle Island again this year. So a week from Thursday is the Sports Hall of Fame banquet, and a bunch of legends are going in, and we will be there. Even if we're not broadcasting live, we'll be recording and taping and covering the event. It's a can't miss. And we're going to try to get Manny over there, too, to do some video, because it's going to be can't-miss video from the UM Sports Hall of Fame banquet. So we will do that as well. We have Chris Caputo, one of the assistant basketball coaches, coming up in about 20 minutes or so, live here from Shake Shack. And I wish that our basketball team was still playing. I wish they had a chance to play in the Elite Eight. But I'm not going to sit here and have sour grapes. Because if you asked me after they lost to Florida Gulf Coast earlier in the year where I thought they'd end up, I didn't think it would be raising three banners, Sweet 16, ACC Tournament, and ACC Championship. So the year, as I take a step back and look at the big picture, was a success, Harry.
Oh, it was absolutely a success. I mean, to win the ACC both ways, to sweep it, as we say, and to have a top 2 ranking for a good part of the season, yeah, it was like the dream season. I kept saying, don't wake me up. I'm enjoying it, and even to the very last moment, it was pretty doggone enjoyable.
No, you can't argue with the fact of how successful it was. Possibly the most successful in our history. It was disappointing, though. I mean, for all of us, I think Thursday night. I'll tell you a quick funny story. I was actually teaching that night. During the game, and it was about break time at around 8 o'clock. So I
give your kids a break?
Yeah, I give them a break. Well, it's 2.5 hours, so they need a break. So I give them a break, and I say, oh well, now it's time. I'll check the score. And I knew the kids that have their laptops open are watching the game, but it was sort of a test. And before I could even finish my sentence, they tell me the halftime score and that it's halftime and that we've been playing like terrible and all this. And I was like, all right, well, it's good to know you guys are paying attention to me.
Watching the game?
Yeah. So then after class, I let them out like 5 minutes early, and one kid was still watching it, so I just sat down next to my student, and we watched a few minutes of the game on his laptop while everyone else had left.
Those were the best 5 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
I would love for you to, did you give any kind of lecture that night?
Oh, no, I lectured the whole time.
So I would love for you to see some notes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You're like looking down notes. What's the subject that you're covering?
It's business law.
Business law, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
freaking Kaji, blah, blah, blah.
Another missed shot.
Another missed shot.
Another missed 3.
Where's the defense?
Teacher, why are we here? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was, look, it was not a great ending. We didn't play a great last game. We'll talk to Coach Caputo about what went wrong against Marquette. A lot went wrong, but a lot went wrong behind the scenes too. Shane Larkin's illness, Durant gets hit in the mouth, a bunch of guys are taped up, Reggie has surgery. I mean, all of these things come together at the worst possible time. You want to be peaking in the Sweet 16, not trying to play a game with 3 hands tied behind your back.
No, I mean, I think losing Reggie, just the emotional part, and we talked about it before. We were hoping he'd break out and have a big game at some point, Harry, and Jack told us that he would, and unfortunately you have that injury, and not so much on the offensive side. I think just getting beaten on the boards. He was at least another body, another guy that could foul and get some boards, and that hurt, and, you know, I don't know. You just have one of your worst nights, and they have one of their best nights, and that's the game of basketball.
Their next game, they had a pretty bad night.
They had as bad of a night as we did.
You look at some of the other games out there. Even like yesterday, Duke was right with Louisville at the halftime, and second half they got left in the dust. So a lot of these games were not quite as competitive as we would like them to have been.
I'm all about the Shockers now.
Yeah, I love the Shockers. They talk about the Shockers. The thing for the Miami fans to remember is they lost 4 starters from last year's team, and they're in the Elite Eight or in the Final Four now, right? So that's pretty exciting.
All right, well, we'll talk to Coach Caputo about recruiting. We'll talk to Coach Caputo about the game. We'll talk to Coach Caputo about everything with the Miami Hurricanes basketball. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll chitty-chat some more before Coach gets here. Back after this, we're live from Shake Shack in the Gables, 1450 South Dixie Highway, right across from the University of Miami. The best burgers, fries, shakes, cold beer. The Shackmeister Ale from Brooklyn, New York is unbelievable. The Land Shark, the Magic Hat, the Pyramid. Everything is great here at Shake Shack. Do not miss it. We're right across from the U. Back after this on allCANES Radio.
We don't care about nobody except it's you. We don't.
You're listening to allCANES Radio.
You're a Canes fan, and you want the best gear. Well, you know there's only one place to go, and that's allCANES. allCANES, just a stone's throw from the U on Ponce, has been outfitting Canes fans for over half a century. country. Want the latest and best Canes t-shirts? All Canes has them. Want the official coach's polo and sideline gear? All Canes has it. They've got dozens of hats, the latest Nike gear, customized jerseys, shirts, shorts, sexy tops for the girls, and the cutest kids gear you've ever seen. Get the whole family dressed for victory at All Canes. All Canes is located at 5831 Ponce de Leon Boulevard in the Gables. You can call them at 305-661-9011